This is going to be the coolest thing you've ever made on a barbecue. Wowzers. There we go. You're gonna impress everyone with this. A giant pork-made ham.
Big thanks to Borniak Smokers for sponsoring this video.
This is one of those projects people are going to be talking about for years. Remember when Uncle Robbie made that ham himself? That's the one. I'm not Uncle Robbie, but some guy, you know. And then Uncle Robbie, that could be you. Because this might be your biggest project yet. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Look at this. It is absolutely freaking humongous.
Hey John, thank you man.
It's insane. And it's super, super heavy. And it's going to be a big project. So we better get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take most of the skin off because I don't need skin on my ham. And the ham meat that is valuable to us runs up to here. So the rest, I can leave the skin on. Let's go through. I'm just going to undress this. I don't want to carve into the meat. I want it to keep its structural integrity until I know if it fits the barbecue. Because I realize that this is a big ham. So let's take off that skin. Just gonna make it easy for myself and work that knife underneath, separating the skin from the meat. Apply a little bit of pressure. It's okay if you get a little bit of meat on. See how easy that is. There we go. The skin is off. Now you can save this and turn it in chicharrones. You just have to clear off any fat or any little bit of meat that's still left on, and then you let it dry, a little bit of salt on it, maybe a couple of days, then boil it until you feel that it's getting soft and tender, and then you fry it up. It's the most delicious thing you ever had. Now that the easy job is done, I need to get that bone out. That's basically where it's connected to the rest of the body. And then we got the hip bone, and that runs all the way through here. So I'm just gonna take my knife and follow the bone. That is basically all I can tell you. I'm not a butcher. And so I'm not expecting a fantastic job, but getting the bone out is not that hard either. Once you found the bone, you're just gonna carve along the bone and then start clearing off the meat from the bone. Basically, all you're doing is going in from one side and then clearing away the meat from that bone, butterflying the meat. And don't worry if it's not looking pretty, because in the end, we're gonna tie this back up again and all the damage is going to be hidden. Once I got a butterfly open, I basically have the bone here in my hand and I need to detach it somewhere. What I want to do is like turn the whole thing into a ham. And I want to keep this on as a showpiece. But that also means I'm going to have to cut the bone somewhere. And I'm going to cut it at the joint because that is the easiest place to do it. All I have to go is search out the cartilage and then cut it, and then this is getting roasted and it's going to the dog. And what is left now is this. A giant piece of meat, which looks terrible from the inside, but on the outside we got a beautiful looking ham thing going on here. So next step is that I need to make a brine for the ham. You see, making the brine is a smart move. You can also lay the ham in salt and leave it there for many, many days. This is going to take at least probably 7 to 8 days to get it to the level where it's going to be a dry brine ham. So the butcher's got a short way around it, and that is just making a brine and injecting it. All you have to do is take 1.5 liters of water, add 75 grams of salt to it, 50 grams of sugar, a laurel leaf, 5 black peppercorns, 3 piment peppercorns. I also like to add half a teaspoon of chili peppers, and the last ingredient has to be an onion. I'm just going to take a small one, peel it. Now you don't really have to peel it, but it just looks a little bit better in the brine. You're gonna cut it in half. Whoop. Now bring this to a boil, then give it a good stir. I don't recommend tasting at this point, but you can smell the aroma coming off the brine and it just screams ham. Then shut it down and let it cool down. We don't need to go all the way to cold because we're going to be cooking this ham. But you need to let it cool down at least to 65 degrees Celsius. You can either feel by hand if it's cooled down, or you can use the thermometer to measure the temperature. And we're currently at 58 degrees Celsius. That's about 135 Fahrenheit, which is an absolute perfect injecting temperature. I'm gonna get my needle, suck it, and start injecting the meat. You really want to go into the muscle, pump it up, and get as much fluid in it as you possibly can. Try and hit every separate part of the mussel, because every mussel is encapsulated and it's hard for the moisture to go outside of that single mussel and go into another piece of mussel. So you want to get each and every one of them. That's why I got so much brine. Now honestly, during the cooking process we're going to lose a lot of that moisture again, but all of the flavor is going to be in the ham. I got my pork injected, and now of course it's still losing a lot of moisture. That's fine. Just because it's now redistributing all of that brine throughout the meat. And everything that's left over, well, it's just gonna come out. But one thing that we still need to talk about is this. If you want a ham that looks like a store-bought ham that's going to be pink, you're going to have to use nitrate in your salt. And this is, in Dutch we call this colora salt, but it's, well, nitrate salt. That's what this is. And the nitrate in this salt is going to turn it pink. However, I'm not using. And the reason is that I already consume enough nitrate, so I don't need to add more. Besides, I'm going to make this ham for my guests. We're going to eat it together, and everything that's left over I'm going to stick in the fridge and eat in about 2 to 3 days. So my recommendation is, if you're making ham for a dinner, then don't add nitrate. Just adjust the amount that you're using to the amount of people that are eating with you. But if you want to use the ham for a longer period of time, let's say about a month in the fridge, then you do want to use nitrate, because it kills bacteria and it's what makes the ham pink, just like a smoke ring. I'm going to season the ham. You know, I want a little bit of extra color on the outside. It's almost like you want that roasted ham with that beautiful color, that little brown bark. Now that's what this is for. PITMASTERX pork seasoning is going to go on. You can buy it in our web shop, or you can make it yourself, because the recipe is on pitmasterx.com. There we go. I'm just going to liberally season this and flip it around. Season the other side. There we go. And now we're going to turn this into a good looking ham, because so far it's looking pretty messy, I gotta admit. And the way that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a loop. Just going to make this easy for myself. I'm going to start to bind this together. I'm going to take a piece of butcher's twine, make a knot and a double knot. And I'm going to keep that going until I get to the point where we got a nice tied up ham. I also added a little side protection line to just bind it in, get a little compactor. And I used a pin to hold some of it together while I was tying it up. Now from the back it looks like this. From the front it looks like this. And the plan is just to hang it up in the smoker like this. Oh, it's so super heavy. Wowzers. That is a big ham. Let's see if it will hold its own weight, and it will. As it looks right now, it looks good. So I trust that we're gonna make it. It's seasoned pretty well, it looks good. Time to fire up the Borniak. If there is a smoker that can do this, the Borniak is the one. Now, it's pretty simple. We got this big space here. We need to put that ham in this space. Technically, it's not gonna fit because the ham is just, the leg would stick out somewhere. But Borniak comes with some features, and one of them is hanging meat. So what I plan to do is just take these reinforced triangles and put them up. Now these are super strong, and you can hang a lot of weight on them. And I got my box with hooks here. And we're going to figure out which one is going to be the best. Now personally I like these because they swirl around on their own weight, and they're heavy enough to carry a weight like this. Still, it's not going to fit though. So I have to figure out like which is the right place to put this. And here is a bone that runs back here. It's like the heel bone. So this would be the perfect spot. And hopefully this will go behind that. That's like that. And we can put it in. Uh-oh, there you have it. It's not long enough, this hook. It's not going to do the job. It's not going to carry the boats, guys. I'm going to take another hook, put it in a lower position, and just jam it through. Now we're holding on to the meat though, and that's a less ideal circumstance. However, more likely to fit, except it's not. It's a combination of my skills and the size of this thing. Wowzers. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Of course, I'm going to keep my eye on the temperature, plug in a probe right there, and stick it in the controller. Now I'm going to switch it on and set the temperature. I'm going to be smoking this at a temperature of 140 degrees Celsius. There we go. I'm also going to turn on the smoke. And here in the smoker box, I got a little bit of wood chips. It's not going to be enough for the cook. So I'm going to add a little bit more beechwood to do it. Now all I have to do is close the lid and wait for the Borniak to do its job. I'm going to set the probe to a temperature of 65 degrees Celsius. While we wait for the ham to cook, which by the way is going to take a pretty long time, I'm going to show you how to make a delicious sauce to go with it. Starting with about half a cup of mustard. French mustard is the best mustard for the sauce. I'm going to make that mustard a little bit more fluid with apple cider vinegar, and that's about, I think, about half a tablespoon. A little more, it's about a tablespoon. To that I'm going to add half a tablespoon of Worcester sauce, half a tablespoon of dried dill, and 3 tablespoons of molasses or pancakes. The dill comes right out again. Or molasses or pancake syrup. There we go, 3 tablespoons. It's got to be sweet. Pork and sweetness is like ultimate best friends. Now mix that up and look at the consistency changing. Oh boy, this is so good. Now you really got to soften that molasses. And this is completely different from the honey mustard sauce. It's really a different flavor profile, but in a good way. It's like, Of course, you always perform the taste test. That's good. I'm just thinking, should I add something more to it? But really, no, don't do it. It's good the way it is. I just got the notification that the ham is done. Well, it's not really done, but at least it's reached its desired core temperature of 65 degrees Celsius. And it only took, how long did it take? It took a long time. It took so long that I have to check. Oh, it took a total of 8 hours to cook this thing up to a core temperature of 65 degrees Celsius. It's insane. It takes a long time, like I told you. But now the challenge is to take it out and put it over here. And of course I want to get it out in one piece because it's going to be a showpiece for dinner. There we go. Wow. Wow. Wow, look at that. Whoa. Well, that is a monster. Wow. Ooh, do you hear that? It is juicy. It sounds so good. I'm not just gonna put some aluminum foil on this. It's basically gift wrapping it. Just imagine driving over to someone's house with this as your Christmas ham. A perfect package. I'm just gonna let it rest for an hour and then we finally get to taste it. Ooh, this is gonna be so good. Super soft, super juicy. Wow. And the cool thing is that we don't have to worry about that bone because I already removed it. Don't forget about those juices. Let's carve into this and take a look inside. Whoa. That is a perfect ham. This couldn't have gone any better if I wanted to. Look at it. Now, of course, you don't have the pinkness from the nitrate, but for me, that's just fine because I don't need the nitrate because we're gonna eat this straight away. All right, let's see how juicy this is. That is pretty juicy. So the funniest thing is that I have a guest who came over and it wasn't planned.
No,
not scheduled at all. But we were talking, he was driving, he wasn't on his phone, he was voice messaging me. And he said, oh, I'm there and there. And I said, well, that's pretty close. Maybe you want to stop by.
For a little snack, you know?
For a little late night snack. All right, so I made a sauce.
Honey and mustard?
Except it's not honey.
It's not honey.
No, pancake syrup. And oh, a little bit of apple cider vinegar.
Ah, yeah, I can taste this.
Yeah, it's fruity, yeah?
Cool.
All right, now for the ham. I just suggested just take a piece, shred it off like
this meat sponge.
I hope you're hungry.
Yeah, I am.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's like I injected it with a brine that we cooked. I put some seasoning on the outside. It definitely was a project.
Really good.
So if you don't know about Sasha runs Kustenglut. Just check out Instagram, that's where you start and then you figure your way out. But he makes some really exciting German content. I love his stuff. And if you enjoyed this video, then leave us a big thumbs up and a comment down below. And see you guys in the next one.